Hello, welcome to my channel NG Tech. Today we will discuss about the test present in civil engineering. The test for aggregate. There are mainly 5 tests for aggregate. First, crushing test. Second, abrasion test. Third, soundness test. Fourth, impact test. And fifth is shape test. First, we will discuss about crushing test. The crushing test of an aggregate is the crucial procedure in civil engineering used to determine the strength and durability of the aggregate materials. This test is fundamental measure of a material's resistance to crushing under the compression load. The test measures the aggregate ability to withstand the crushing force. The sieve, the aggregate sample to obtain the range of 10 to 20 mm. The load is gradually applied on the aggregate, and after that we will sieving the sample with a sieve of 2.3 mm. Then the crushing strength should be calculated by the formula, that is crushing strength equal to weight of the sample passing through 2.3 mm sieve divided by the weight of the sample present initially. There is a picture of aggregate crushing value test procedure. The second test is abrasion test. The abrasion test of an aggregate assesses the resistance of aggregate to wear and tear due to friction and the impact, which is the important for ensure the durability of the materials using in the construction. Los Angeles abrasion machine is used for this test. A rotating drum with steel spare or abrasive charges. The sample is sieved with a sieve of 1.7 mm after removing from the abrasion machine. The abrasion loss percentage is calculated by the formula of abrasion loss equal to weight of the sample which is passing through 1.7 mm sieve is divided by the weight of the sample present initially. For water-bound macadam cores, abrasion loss value is acceptable up to 40%, and for bituminous and concrete road this value is acceptable up to 35%. A photograph of this test are present below. The third test is soundness test. The soundness test of an aggregate evaluates their resistance to weathering and disintegration when exposed to the environmental conditions such as moisture and temperature changes. There are common two methods present in soundness test: sodium sulfate soundness test and magnesium sulfate soundness test. The aggregate of specific size is subjected in a circle of alternate wetting in a saturation solution of either of two solution, that is sodium sulfate solution or magnesium sulfate solution, about for 16 to 18 hours, and then dry in oven at 105 to 110 centigrade to a constant weight. After 5 cycles, the loss of the aggregate is determined by sieving out all the unsized particles and weight. The tests which are conducted in sodium sulfate solution should not exceed the value of 12% losses, and for the solution of magnesium sulfate the loss should not be exceed 10%. Our next test is impact test. The impact test of an aggregate assesses the resistance of aggregate to a certain impact or shocking load. This test is particularly useful for evaluating aggregate using in road construction, concrete and other applications where the durability under impact is crucial. This test also evaluating the toughness of the aggregate. The aggregate passing through 12 mm sieve and written in 10 mm sieve are used in this method. First, these aggregates are filled in a cylindrical steel cup of internal diameter 10.2 mm and depth 5 cm attached with impact testing machine. The aggregate is filled by 3 layers with 25 blows. The metal hammer of 13.5 to 14 kg is free fall from the height of 38 cm with 15 numbers of blows. The crushing aggregate are then passed through 2.36 mm sieve, and the impact value is calculated by the formula is impact value equal to weight passing through the sieve 2.36 mm by initial weight of the sample. For the bearing course, this value should not be greater than 30%, and for the bituminous macadam this value is not greater than 40%. Our next test is shape test. The shape test of an aggregate evaluates the physical form and geometry of aggregates particles, which can significantly influence the performance of the concrete and asphalt. The shape of the aggregate will affect the workability, strength, and stability of the construction materials. There are mainly common two tests to determine the shape test are flakiness index test and elongation index test. First we discuss about flakiness index test. This test is define the percentage of weight of the particles whose least dimension of an aggregate is less than 0.6 times of the mean dimension. This means the least and smallest dimension of this aggregate is less than 0.6 times of the mean dimension. And after that the elongation index test is defined as the percentage of weight of these particles whose greater dimension of the aggregate is more than 1.8 times of the mean dimension. This test is applicable for the aggregate of size more than 6.3 mm. To know about more tests in civil engineering, please like, share and subscribe my channel NG Tech.